Yeah, that's not how weight loss works. That's something that's gone through my head. Now that I know, coming from where I came from a year ago even, when I look at a photo of myself and think, I am largely a different person at this point. I have absolutely downsized. That's me a year ago. And when you don't know how to lose weight, you try different things that you hear people do or say, and you're always looking for some way to do it. But until you have the answers, you're just kind of at the mercy of your lack of knowledge. So I make this video to point out some of the things that do not cause weight loss. Before I do, I want to be very clear. Weight loss is a marketing term, because in reality, no one cares about weight loss. What people are trying to do is they're trying for fat loss. They're not wanting to lose muscle. They're wanting to lose fat from their body. So we say weight and we think of it in terms of on a scale, but to some degree, like in my situation, my weight is becoming quite irrelevant, because now I've lost the majority of fat that I set out to lose, and now I have to actually start gaining muscle mass more and make that the main thing that I'm working on. So in theory, my weight may be going back up. We'll see. But weight loss, the real term is fat loss. But for the sake of selling products, I get it, companies have to say weight loss. You know, let's say like Weight Watchers, but Fat Watchers or whatever. But even now they just changed it to WW because I guess Weight Watchers is too offensive or something. So what are some ways that it doesn't actually work? When I say, yeah, it doesn't actually work that way for fat loss or for weight loss. What doesn't work? So if drink this shake. It's full of all kinds of green minerals and vitamins, and just do this and just watch the fat fall off. Well, what's really working about that? Well, finally, you're adding some vitamins and minerals into your body. That's good. That's always a good thing. But ultimately, the concept behind those shakes is that you replace a meal with one of those shakes. And it's going to provide maybe some protein and things like that in it, maybe some fat even, to sustain you so you can skip a meal. But ultimately, what it's doing is it's helping you reduce your amount of calories in a day. So when you replace a meal or juice, a juice fast or whatever, like just drink this green juice instead of breakfast or whatever. Same concept. What you're doing is you're minimizing your amount of calories for the day, because for most people, if you consume less than 2,000 calories, it's going to help you lose fat, burn fat. And if you consume more than 2,000, it's going to help you maintain what you already have, your body weight in general. And then usually most people, once you get over 2,600, then you actually start adding body fat to your frame. So ultimately, whether it's a juice or a shake, something like that, it's really just helping you eat less calories a day. Okay? I'm keto, but I recognize, same concept. I don't eat until at least 2 every day. And granted, I do a little bit of coconut oil in my coffee to sustain me, because that little bit of fat keeps me from being hungry for meals until 2, sometimes later. But what am I doing? I'm starting my eating window later in the day. So usually from like 2 to 8 is when I'll eat. Sometimes even a smaller window than that. But it makes it harder for me to overeat during that time when I'm already focusing on getting at least 170 grams of protein a day. If I'm focusing on protein, it's hard to have room for carbohydrates or things like that. So there's a little bit of space and time for that, but not quite a lot. But ultimately all I'm doing is I'm compressing my calories for the day so that I can't be eating all day. So even with the shakes, that sort of thing, ultimately, what is that? Well, it's similar to what I do with intermittent fasting. It's just you're kind of replacing a meal. And by meal, maybe that shake is 400 calories. Maybe that's a lot. But compared to a meal that you might have done, which was 850 calories, and they were mainly empty calories, well, it helps you do that. So that works as long as you do it. But ultimately, once you stop, maybe having that shake isn't so relevant on a regular basis. That's why for me, I've got a meal plan that I'm always evolving, always thinking, how do I stay under 2,000 calories? How do I get at least 170 grams of complete protein every day? How do I do that? And for the most part, everything else is okay. Yesterday, for example, I had more fat than normal, and I dropped my protein down to maybe 140 grams yesterday, and I had more fat yesterday because I was needing more fat. I could tell in my body, so I ate sausage and it had more fat in it. Whereas today, I'm back on protein. I'm not gonna eat as much fat, but I'm gonna do more protein. But either way, I have that goal of keeping my protein high enough. Ideally, it's a gram for every pound that you intend to eventually weigh. It's hard for me because I weigh 156, but I'm actually, in theory, knowing that maybe I might eventually weigh that much in muscle. We'll see. But the concept is total overkill on how much protein I'm aiming to have every day. And if I make that the main focus and still remain under 2,000 calories, by default, it's going to force certain things out of the schedule for me, of things that I would eat that day. So that's how it actually works. The way you actually lose weight or lose fat specifically is to consume less than 2,000 calories in a day, is to aim to have the majority of your calories actually going into protein, because protein takes more energy for your body to burn off as compared to carbs that take the least amount. So you want your body to be working, digesting that protein, which takes longer. So the majority, and I mean, that's a lot of protein. I mean, a piece of salmon is about 30 grams of protein. Okay, I'm doing like 170 grams a day. So imagine, I mean, a can of tuna, a thing of fillet of salmon, a whole cup of cottage cheese, except the list goes on for me to get that. But that ultimately makes my body work harder to convert that energy, and that's actually how the fat goes up. So supplements and pills, oh, this is a fat burner. Even if it did speed up your metabolism to some degree, still say you're better off in eating more protein so that your body has to burn it off and spend more energy doing that. But any kind of gimmick to lose weight, it's not a long-term thing. It's a short-term thing. It's a matter of you have to change your lifestyle, otherwise you're not going to maintain that situation. Now, with that being said, should you always remain in that caloric deficit under 2,000 calories? No, eventually I won't actually. Eventually, I'm going to start going over 2,000 calories once I lose the last couple pounds of fat on my stomach. Then I'm actually going to increase even more protein and fat in that situation. But are you trying to lose fat? You got to be in a deficit. Are you trying to gain muscle mass? You got to be in a caloric surplus. But for a lot of people, you got to lose the fat first. People can try different ways, but ultimately, I've still got fat on my stomach, about 5 pounds maybe. So I'm going to remain in that deficit, and then I'll recalculate my calories accordingly after that. But see, this is how it actually works as far as fat loss. And of course, too, I'm walking 3 miles a day. I'm moving, and I'm also doing gym training. But I think what I do at the gym is maybe 15% of it. I think the walking and what I'm eating is the majority of it. So that's how it actually works. It's not about a product that you buy. It's not about a smoothie. No, it's not about one of those crazy wrap things you put around your, no, that's not how it actually works. Take it from a guy who looked a lot different a year ago. Your comments belong right here.